Hey everyone, welcome to another episode from Ampro Engineering. We have something new here from ROCHobby, and that is 1/12 scale Type 82E. I believe it's pronounced Kommandeurwagen. Obviously, it is a Volkswagen Beetle that ROCHobby has whipped up. They are the same ones that made the Kugelwagen that I did an earlier episode on, and I suspect that we'll see quite a few similarities between the two, given that they are the same, if not similar chassis. Opening doors, front hood, rear hood, some nicely detailed underbelly there. Feel free and pause on that if you'd like to see more. Some specs on the car there. Let's pull this out, and as usual from vehicles produced by FMS Hobby and ROCHobby, we have this absolutely wonderful case. If you're new to this car or this brand, what the case is, it is a sensational way to store and transport your vehicle. So here we have the car, which is in an absolutely horrible color, but it's going for a military type color scheme here. The car is a lot bigger than I thought it was going to be. ROCHobby has these wonderful remote controls, probably one of my favorite ones on the market. Fully function with this really, really well done details. Awesome to use, single-handed and all that good stuff. We should have a battery, yes. Battery and charger are in this little bag here, and that is all that's in there. And let us take a good look at the car. The vehicle is sitting very high, obviously. That makes sense for a military type vehicle. It is an early Beetle, given the tiny taillights and the split rear window. I was expecting more of a rough finish on the plastic to give it the matte color, but no, what it is a very smooth finish. This is really nice. These little decals on the windows to prevent damage in shipping. Well done. It's interesting because the vehicle almost gives itself a cheap look by having all these pieces painted, when in reality the actual car would have had all these pieces painted for camouflage purposes. On the Kugelwagen, the door handle would pull. Yes, and it does here. It's just insanity. I can't get enough of that. Yeah, it pulls right open. Lovely. I don't know if a Beetle will do this. I think there's like a little leather strap in here on the early cars. The seats are, so these are not fabric, but they're a lovely rubberized material. They're nice and squishy. I like that. Do these move at all? These don't seem to move. The instrumentation looks like a nice little decal, if you can see that really well. It's really nice in there. The door should close with a little click. Yes, it does. At the rear, I'm assuming that we just lift this up. Yep, there's our motor. Little O-ring right there, because the generator, as that spins, notice the fan in the housing. I mean, that's just outstanding. The motor is a little bit movie. I think that's because it's mounted. Yeah, the motor is mounted independent to the body, which actually gives it a very scaled appearance, right? You would want the motor to move like it's on motor mounts. The electrical system here, probably for the lighting, gives it a very, very scale look. I believe the roof comes off, so the hood should open up. I should say the trunk. To open the hood, I had to get a little screwdriver in here at the bottom to pop it open. I don't know if it's just my big fingers that won't fit, but I kind of had to do that. Little spare tire. Ooh, comes right out. Look at that. Battery. This is the kind of thing with these FMS, ROCHobby, and EZRC cars. I always find that there's not a good place for the battery. And that is true here once again. Clearly it goes in this area, but it's not like it's held in or anything. This isn't a high performance car, so it's not going to be bouncing around. Just an observation. This, I believe, is our power button, which again, kind of an afterthought. Flipping it over, we do have rear portals, which is very cool. Tiniest little drive shafts. This does have a differential. The front also has a differential. This is four-wheel drive, and I suspect we'll have a two-wheel drive option. It's a shame that everything is molded in this original color. It'd be cool if this was all black. It would make life a lot easier to change the color of the vehicle. But nevertheless, I mean, they were going for something scale. I don't know if this comes through on the camera, but The feel of quality on this thing here is remarkable. I mean, just looking at these small details here, like look at this. Look at the panel gap between the fender, or I should say the rocker, or the whatever the heck this thing is called here, the step piece that attaches to the body and the chassis. The reveal is so minuscule. All the tiny little hardware that's put in there, the gaps between all of the plastics and how they are held together. It's really, really well done. You can see the little extra pieces of metal on areas that require additional reinforcement. The beautifully machined dog bones. They've done really a remarkable job on this car. The radio takes 4 AAA batteries, and the car, we'll just plug this in right there. I'll leave the spare wheel out for the time being, and we'll push the power button. A neat feature on these ROCHobby cars, if I turn the radio on, okay, so that light is telling us that the radio is on. When I turn the car on, okay, we'll give it a second. This light here, it says RX, or receiver battery. That is telling us the status of this car's battery. Very, very neat. So I believe it turns yellow and then flashes at you if the battery is dying. All right, let's turn the wheels. Okay, servo's all working there. We'll close the hood up a bit. Let's see here. This should be in 4-wheel drive. Okay. To take it out of 4-wheel drive, we'll press and hold, I believe, channel 4. And now, rear-wheel drive. Okay, so that is high. And then moving channel 3. Now we are in low. And as someone who's driven the Kommandeurwagen quite a lot, low is bloody low. This is not a fast car by any stretch of the imagination. Let's just be clear about that. To put it back in 4-wheel drive, press and hold. Outstanding. And now we are in, double check here, 4-wheel drive. Now pressing the button here, I'll just turn it over here. So pressing the button once, headlights are on. Okay. Pressing the button again makes the headlights brighter. Pressing it a 3rd time, that turns on the blackout light. Pressing it once more only runs the blackout light. I think, let's see what the taillights are up to right now. Okay, taillights are off. Okay, turn the headlights on. Wow. The LED they've used in here looks outstanding. It looks like a little jewel light. Oh my God, I love it. All right, these should have brakes. Oh boy, they're there, but man, it's subtle. Signal. Okay, so we do not have turn signals. We do have brake lights, but like I said, it's almost unnoticeable. If the lights are off, okay. So yeah, they're very subtle. And the brake lights are operational with the headlights off. We have all of the trims over here, which is very nice. You can access the endpoints. So here's our steering reverse, throttle reverse. And looking at the manual, which we'll actually look into a little more detail in a moment, the manual goes into a great deal of detail about how the electronics work. Okay, so here's all the information on the radio. Also, if we continue to go, there's some other info here. This is really useful. This is all the pinout for the car's receiver ESC combo. And then the ESC parameter setting. Okay, so we have the running mode, so you can get rid of the brake, what kind of battery you're running, as well as the drag brake. It also goes into detail about the lighting functions. ROCHobby did this with the Kommandeurwagen. Here at the product introduction, here they have the background of the actual car, talking about Ferdinand Porsche and the whole beginning and actually what happened behind the development of the KDF wagon, which eventually turned into the Beetle. So a nice tidbit there. Here it goes into detail with the model. And what I like about this here is that they throw in all of the redacted notes like you would find on military documentation. Very, very neat. Again, it's this little bit of extra effort that ROCHobby put into this. One thing I discovered, because I'm going to design some new wheels for it, these are beadlock. I still don't know how they're assembled. They're probably glued on. Maybe this outer piece and this outer piece or two halves. These two halves attach to each other. And the thing is, the reason why they're not able to come apart is because they're constrained within this slot. So I think what you do is you install both of these halves in the tire, install the wheel, make sure the tire is seated in the channels, and then press in the two halves, and that locks it together. Quite a nice idea. But at this point here, I think I'd like to take it for a spin.
You ever drive an old bug like that?
I don't know what to say about this car, honestly. I love these things, mainly because they suit my particular driving style, which is a bit on the slow side, I'll admit. But the thing is, it just looks so cool as it's putting along. It looks so scale. The detail on the car is remarkable. The performance is appropriate for something like this. Now, I hesitate, and I said this with the other ROCHobby Kubelwagen, but I hesitate to call this a radio-controlled car. I'd say that this is more of a motorized model. The details on this thing are incredible, but it goes to such great extent to pull that off that it loses the performance factor of something like this. So if you're looking for an RC car, this isn't for you. If you're looking for something that is extremely scale, something extremely detailed, that happens to be radio controlled, this has got your name all over it. Now, this is 1/12 scale, so it's not going to be in keeping with the proper scale of your perhaps Tamiya RC tank collection. But with that said, if you are into military vehicles, if you're into Volkswagen Beetles, if you're into scale models, this is the car for you. If you want to launch something off the roof, Traxxas has got you covered. I'm really excited about this car because again, as I mentioned earlier, I'm not really into the whole monochromatic color. I know that it's this way for a particular reason, but I have a pretty good plan for this car that will take advantage of the raised off-road performance, off-road abilities of this car, but spice it up a little bit. So you will see this car very, very soon. I'm incredibly excited that I had the opportunity to review this, and I'm even more excited that I'm going to have the opportunity to modify it. My friends, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the contents of this video. I go into significantly more detail on the remote control operation in the Kubelwagen video, so if you did have any questions, it's all covered there. Thank you so much, and we'll see you next time.